people didn't know where is Kazakhstan and what is Kazakhstan. They thought, wow, it's somewhere near Afghanistan or Pakistan.
Whenever people come into a restaurant, sometimes some of the guests are incredibly kind and they're shy to say, I'm so sorry, I don't know what Central Asian food is. I don't know what to expect. And in that case, it's actually our favorite type of guest because we are so grateful that they came in with no idea what to expect and they still trusted us to try something new, to kind of experience a new cuisine through our lens, through our restaurant. That's what we opened the restaurant for.
Welcome to Proudly Asian, a podcast series that tells bold and proud stories of Asians by Asians. My name is Isabel, your podcast host, and I'm here to find stories that challenge biases we face every day. There's never just one way to look at Asians. This podcast will take you through a deep dive into the life stories, struggles, and triumphs of young Asians around the world. On today's episode, we have Ali, Nuraly and Xeniya Tregubenko, the founders of Yurt. Born and raised in Kazakhstan, Ali and Xeniya recently opened Hong Kong's first Central Asian restaurant and put Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan on the table. They join us to talk about why they decided to bring Central Asian flavors to Hong Kong and what they want you to know about Kazakhstan. Hello, welcome back to Proudly Asian. Today, joining us at the studio are Ali and Xeniya from Yurt, who they are going to tell us about their journey starting the very first Central Asian restaurant in Hong Kong. But before we get started on that, let's get to know about our guests first. So Ali and Xeniya, welcome to Proudly Asian.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
So in order for our listeners to get to know you more, we normally get started with this set of questions, which is tell us about your background. Who are you? What are you? And where did you grow up?
Ladies first.
Sure. So my name is Xeniya. I'm from Kazakhstan, from a southern town named Kazlorda, small town that a lot of people never heard about, but yet it's very dear to my heart. I came to Hong Kong around 7 years ago. I went to university. I went to Chinese University of Hong Kong, got my degree in hospitality and real estate, pretty obviously, and then since then followed my path of hospitality in Hong Kong. Met Ali around 6 to 7 months ago, and here we are, building up Hong Kong's first Central Asian restaurant, a dream of ours.
Nice. And what about you, Ali?
Yeah, so my name is Ali. Nice to meet you. I was born and raised in Astana. It's a capital of Kazakhstan, quite a cold city in the north. Then I was studying in Turkey, in Istanbul for my bachelor's. Had some masters in Paris. Worked couple months in the Emirates. Came back to Kazakhstan. And in Kazakhstan, we have a family business. We growing and exporting the meat. And then my father just randomly told me, Ali, you should go to Hong Kong, export that market. That's how I came to Hong Kong. It was winter. It was 2024 winter. That time we didn't have any convenient flights, so I was going through China, had many adventures on the way. I came to Hong Kong. I loved this city. It's one of the best cities I have been. I've been in many cities in Europe, Middle East, other parts of Asia, but Hong Kong is really one of the best for me. And then I start discovering business opportunities. I went to different companies, meat distributors. We supplied about ton of meat samples to Hong Kong, distributed to different restaurants. Everyone liked our quality, our taste of the meat, the freshness. But the problem was people didn't know where is Kazakhstan and what is Kazakhstan. They thought, wow, it's somewhere near Afghanistan or Pakistan. So they said, we cannot put it in the menu because our customers will choose ribeye from US or lampreys from New Zealand because they know these countries. So I was a bit upset with this lack of knowledge about our country in Hong Kong. And that time I met Xenia, and she said, I want to open a Kazakh restaurant. I said, yeah, that will help me to sell my meat.
Although I'm convinced that it was Ali who came with the idea first, but
Ooh.
we'll never know who.
Yeah.
who
There are
shared
two
the
different
dream first.
versions
Yeah.
to this story, and I mean, just for our listeners' information, just to clarify, right? Like, you both are very good partners at work, but you both are not dating, which is a
We
fact
are
that some
not.
media has gone wrong. I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point our listeners would be wondering. So I'm just getting it out of the way before.
Making the point, yeah.
Yeah.
Xenia is my sister,
Oh.
Maybe soul sister at
the
that.
soul sister.
I think a lot of people assume that because they see us at the restaurant and because we, through building Yurt, has been through so much together. There's actually a really nice dynamic. We understand each other very easily.
Yeah.
People will assume there is a connection, but that connection is more like brother and sister.
The hard part was the renovation. I guess all couples will understand me when they decide to make some renovation at their house. It's the worst period
It's like, I want that chair. I don't like that wallpaper.
And as every couple imaginable, we went through pretty much a point where Ali's paying and I'm choosing.
So yeah, I mean, this is my first time meeting you guys, obviously, but already from the very first moment, I already noticed that you both are more kind of like complementary to each other rather than fighting, which I can imagine that's the dynamic for some co-founders, but not you guys. So
Not today.
Not today. Not today. You're not,
Not
fighting
here.
today. Not here. I love that. I love that. So, you both met in Hong Kong. So, and then you both also grew up in different parts of Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just kind of curious, what was it like growing up in Kazakhstan for you? Would life be quite different? The growing up experiences be quite different for the both of you?
I would say so for sure, because Ali comes from the capital of our country, whereas I'm from a smaller town, and we're from very different regions as well. I would say that culturally it would be quite similar, but at the same time, perhaps the opportunities presented, the way infrastructure is, would quite differ. I think it's only a few years ago that my city got a proper airport. As in like properly modernized and everything. We obviously had one for a while, but it was in a very tired condition. I think that would be the only difference, perhaps. What do you think?
maybe climate.
Yeah, the weather.
Astana is one of the coldest capitals in the world. So I remember how when I was child, we was going to school at -30, -40.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
And for me, it's the opposite because we have the hottest city in Kazakhstan. In like May or June towards August, it could reach to like 50 degrees.
Wow.
So we're from different climates.
so it's really like a 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers difference.
Wow.
So our country is quite huge.
Wow. How many time zones are there in Kazakhstan?
Only two,
Only
but
two.
like a geography, it should be more. Our government chose to make it two.
Right.
Like in China. So in China, there is only one time zone, but some people waking up at 3 and some people waking up at 6.
That's right. In China, there's so many different climate patterns as well. And I mean, for our listeners who might be wondering, what are the official languages of Kazakhstan and how many do you speak?
So official language of our country is Kazakh, but Russian is used as a language of like a daily speaking. So we have many different nationalities. We have about 100 nationalities living in Kazakhstan. Kazakhs, Russians, Koreans, Ukrainians, and these nationalities, they speak between themselves Russian, or they start to speak in Kazakh last years.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that since I'm from the south of Kazakhstan, this is where Kazakh language is most popular and used more commonly. So obviously me and Ali, we both speak Kazakh, Russian, English, and Ali I think also.
Yeah, as I study in Turkey, I speak Turkish.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like all Kazakh language and Turkish language, we are from same linguistic group. It's called Turkic Altay group language.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I can understand Uzbek language, Kyrgyz language, Uyghur language. So all over from Shenzhen in China to Istanbul to like European side of Turkey, I can just use one language and understand people.
Wow.
So it's
Right.
a huge geography of Central Asian people.
You have a lot of places covered. Wherever you go, you can just kind of understand what people are saying.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I remember maybe a couple of years ago, we had a guest from Almaty. She is a Kazakh Uyghur herself. And then she mentioned how she was actually more fluent in Russian than Kazakh. Is this also common
Yeah,
in
it's
Kazakhstan?
quite common.
Especially in Almaty, I would say, in bigger cities perhaps.
Right.
But I feel like in the recent years, there's a massive change towards learning Kazakh language, making sure that it's more popularly used in media,
In music,
in
films.
communication. For me, I never had that issue, although my parents are Russian speakers. But from the moment I was like 2-3 years old, they're like, you have to learn Kazakh because this is a national language. And you live in Kazakhstan, you must know the language. Although they themselves can't speak it. But they really put a lot of effort into me learning it. And I'm so grateful so many years down the line that they have actually like insisted that I do and supported me in learning Kazakh.
Yeah. I love how before we started recording, right, Ali and I were having a chat and he mentioned how, being Kazakh does not mean you're ethnically Kazakh because to you there's a very different meaning to being Kazakh.
Yeah, so it's my personal opinion on this. For me, being Kazakh is not about your ancestors, it's not about your DNA or color of your skin. It's only about your values, the culture you share. If you share same culture and you have same values as we, so you can be Kazakh. And it's also coming from the history. Kazakhs is built from different tribes. That's why we have so many different types of Kazakhs. Some of them looks like Europeans, some of them have blue eyes, blonde hairs, but they're Kazakhs. Some of them have a dark skin, some of them more Asian style.
Well, East Asian looking, right?
Yeah. So we are very diverse. And if we, back then, like many centuries ago, we accepted all different tribes and call ourselves Kazakhs, why we cannot do it today?
And it's
I mean-
obviously a very relieving kind of point for myself as well, because for my viewers out there, they're probably looking at me and wondering, this is...
Why do you both look so
Well,
different?
This is a not very Asian looking person out there in the screen. But at the same time, when we met with Ali, I kind of had that worry a little bit. Opening a Central Asian restaurant, how will people perceive it? Because I obviously don't come across as Asian. Although I am very proudly from Kazakhstan, I love my homeland a lot. And once Ali shared his point of view, which I also agree with, it was such a big relief. I immediately realized that we were on the same page. We share the same kind of respect and goal to represent our land. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Nice. I love how in Kazakhstan you guys are just so used to seeing, visible differences because there are so many different phases of Kazakhs, but you guys are all united by culture, food, which we're going to get into very soon. So I think you both have answered the questions already in terms of like what prompted you to move to Hong Kong, because for Xenia, you came here for school, and for you were trying to expand your family business.
Right.
When you first moved to Hong Kong, was it your first time visiting Hong Kong?
No, technically speaking, my father, he had business in Hong Kong before.
Okay.
So I was visiting, but I never visiting myself. So it was a long time ago.
I see. And for Xenia, like you went to CUHK to study hospitality and real estate. Why did you choose Hong Kong?
It's a very interesting question. I think when I was graduating from my school, one of our career advisors recommended me to consider Hong Kong, which at that point I've never considered that I could be successful in Asia for one point or another. And then I was like, you know what, let me look into it. And then I looked at CUHK and the program they were offering for hospitality. And then I've realized that I could really see myself being super successful in hospitality because it's something I love to do. I guess we'll talk about it in a second as well, but hospitality and just in general is just such a massive part of our culture. So it just felt like it was meant to be. And the more I read about Hong Kong, the more I kind of discovered online, I was like, it can't be true. It sounds too good to be true. And then when I arrived to Hong Kong for the first time in August, imagine the heat of Hong Kong in late August. The second I came out of the airport, I was just in love with the city. It was so beautiful, so different from what I used to see. You know, back in my small town, I would probably never see a building higher than 9 floors. And then suddenly you're surrounded by just skyscrapers and incredible just architecture. It was very, very unforgettable kind of feeling. And since then, I've loved it here in Hong Kong.
Wow. So would it be fair to say you sort of came here with a dream of maybe opening a Central Asian restaurant one day?
I wouldn't even dare to dream of something like that when I first came to Hong Kong, I feel. I was so young. I didn't know if that would be possible for me ever, in the sense that it just felt like the city was so massive and kind of almost intimidating a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of get more familiar with the city, look into the industry, develop your skills, connections, expertise, by the time I met Ali, I knew that I'm ready for the project like this.
And then fast forward 7 years, right?
We're here.
We're here to talk about Yurt. So you guys opened this restaurant about 5 months ago. Was
No,
it
we opened only in December,
December.
middle of December. So it's
Oh gosh,
2 months?
less than 2
I'm
months.
so
yeah.
sorry. Like in my head, I felt like half a year has gone by since December.
Maybe Yurt was always meant to be on that street, maybe.
Yeah, so you guys opened up this space in Central, in Soho, a prime location. So maybe tell us about, you know, how it all started. I mean, obviously you mentioned it was all born from that conversation, you know, of you guys realizing you both have the same goal. But from that conversation towards the actual realization of this concept, right?
So after our first meeting, we had this idea, and then my father was coming to Hong Kong, so I introduced Xenia to my father. They had a talk. After that, we decided to start this project. Not the only idea. That time, Xenia was working in a restaurant group. So I was mostly going and checking for places. When I find some good, I was calling her and saying like, "Can you come for 10 minutes, please? It's here nearby." So we was checking about like 100 location of restaurants that was available for rent.
Wow.
Our goal was to find a place in prime location and on ground floor, because we wanted everyone who's passing to see our restaurant, because for us it was more about representing our culture, representing not only Kazakh culture, but the whole huge region of Asia, Central Asia.
Just visibility in general.
Yeah, visibility.
Yeah.
So we was looking in ground floor, and it was very difficult to find a good spot on ground floor. But we was lucky that one day we was sitting in the park, and we
So
was
late at night.
yeah,
Oh
it was
my
very
gosh.
late, and we was discussing that how it's possible that in such a huge city we cannot find any location for restaurant, because we thought all of them are taken. And then I remember that I saw one shop on Elgin Street, but that time I saw, oh, it's too small. Because
And I didn't see that space.
Yeah.
Because he never kind of, We were sitting in the park late at night, somewhere in Wanchai, completely devastated because at this point we've seen so many spaces in the buildings, on ground floors, furnished and unfurnished, that just didn't match our expectations, our needs, to a point where Ali was like, maybe we should just settle for this space. I was like, no, it's just, I know there's something out there waiting for us. I just still remember that night because it was almost felt like, what's going on? And then I told Ali, do you remember any spaces that you've seen maybe before, a few months ago? He started looking through his phone and he pulled up a video of our current space. And it still had previous furniture in it, previous chairs from other owners. And I looked at the video and I was like, wait a second. I think this is amazing. I think this is great. And we texted our real estate agents that same moment. It was like 10 p.m. at that point already. Like, immediately tell us, is this space available? And I think it was.
Yeah.
We went to see it the next day.
Next day, yeah.
And as soon as we saw it, it made total sense for us. It's a perfect location. It's in the middle of Central. It's bold. But once you have a concept like ours, you can't, step away. You have to go all the way, commit to it. It's a beautiful space, and it also has a second floor, which currently serves as our prep zone, as area for our storage, our office, for our team to rest. We've been lucky with the space, and
that time it was green.
It's green.
Yeah, so
What kind of green?
Disgusting green, if you ask me.
I'm sorry if Stefana is watching this
I'm
video.
very sorry if
No, but
if I'm-
you made a beautiful space out of this
Thank
spot,
you.
and I remember walking past it on the street, and then it made me look, because it was just kind of a bit. It stood out. It was the vibe was quite different to the restaurants next to you guys, right? I remember maybe there are some Chinese restaurants that look very Chinese.
Yeah.
And there are also some maybe bigger restaurants that are a bit more flashy, what you would expect to see from kind of like a pizza bar. But for you guys, you're kind of sitting quietly, uniquely on that street. And I just remember having to do a double take.
Thank you. Well, actually, after we found the space, we went into the entirety of coming up with a design of the space, how the furniture is gonna look like, what's the plates gonna be like, what's the lighting, and I think this was for us. Ali will probably agree with me. The toughest part of the project.
Yeah, we changed 2 or 3 interior designers.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So the first
and
drafts
settled on me.
the first drafts never looked like how it looks currently.
Yeah, of course.
And I have to give Ali credit because a lot of the creative decisions in the space right now was something that I kind of pushed for. And he just trusted in a lot of details my vision with the furniture, with the plates. And
I'm about to ask you maybe like a hard, or maybe it's an easy question. Maybe you have already answered it many times. So in a nutshell, if you want to describe Yurt, what is it?
It's home. It's home where everyone is welcomed.
yeah.
I love that.
And if we wanted to be more, to give a proper PR answer, we always say it's a modern Central Asian restaurant. And an emphasis on modern is because a lot of our recipes and flavors are very traditional, almost some might say ancient, but the way we want to present our food is still quite elegant, refined. It's for the modern public through our modern lens of how we want our food and our culture to be perceived today. And the reason we add this little part there is because a lot of people walk through our doors, and whenever they see a space as elegant or they see how our food is presented, they're almost surprised by it somehow. I guess there's a bit of a stereotype or an assumption that our culture or cuisine can look a little bit more brutal, perhaps, not as refined. And it's our stance that it's absolutely not true, and we're representing, a different, beautiful side of our land.
It's kind of interesting to think that, because Ali mentioned maybe in Hong Kong, for some of the people that you met, they didn't even know Kazakhstan existed, first of all. They probably don't even have an idea what Central Asian countries there are, and yet they had some sort of misconception about what Kazakh cuisine.
It's ridiculous, really. They don't even know where it's on the map, and yet they think they know how it's supposed to look or
it's
feel.
like
Yes.
that idea. I mean, I don't even know how to put that into words, because if you have not heard of this place, how would you be able to dream up what the food looks like?
I think it's just an assumption that it would be super simple or lack
Or like not
refinement.
presentable.
Yeah.
Which I think for a lot of maybe South or Southeast Asian cuisines, people might still have that perception in Hong Kong as well, because I remember talking to maybe some Filipino friends. Hong Kongers would have many different imaginations or like takes in terms of what Filipino cuisine would be, but they could not be more wrong. But going back to Kazakh or Central Asian cuisines, right? For our listeners to get up to speed with what they are, could you give us a quick introduction in terms of what Central Asian cuisines are? What are some of the most common ingredients?
I could describe the vibe, and Ali, I think, is best describing geography and history. For me, Central Asian cuisine is incredibly warm. It's not complex or complicated by any stretch of imagination, because it's pretty much designed to keep our ancestors going through hard seasons, through nomadic lifestyle. So a lot of the focus is actually on ingredients, on seasonality and simplicity as well. And Ali, I think, can talk more about
For me, this
regions.
question sounds like what is European cuisine? So Central Asia is a huge part of Asia. It's like millions of square kilometers with different nations living there, different languages, different cultures. So every corner, every city has their own recipes, their own cuisine. It's like China. I think many people in Europe, they think there is only one Chinese cuisine, but in fact there is like 20. Each province has their own cuisine. So same with Central Asia. I would divide it to two main groups: nomadic and sedentary. So nomadic is Kazakhs, Karakalpaks, Turkmen, Nogai, etc. So the people who diets based on the meat. So it's mostly lamb, it's horse meat, sometimes it's camel's meat, but very less beef traditionally, because beef and cattle is more about sedentary lifestyle.
I see.
And sedentary culture is more about the vegetables, fruits, some rice or grain, bakery. So this is two main categories of Central Asian food. And if we go to details, like Uzbek food is have more influence of Persian cuisine, because they had very deep connections with Persia, with trade of different spices. Silk Road affected our cuisine a lot. Then we had some effect from Russian cuisine, some effect from European cuisines. So we are really mixed. We have Asian, European, Middle Eastern flavors in our cuisine. So it's really something already fusion.
Wow. So I mean, like, obviously, like you mentioned, right? I mean, you made a really good point, because when people ask like, oh, what are Central Asian cuisines, is as if someone asking, what is Asian food? But you just mentioned the ingredients and the vibe, right? But when it comes to like flavor profile,
Yeah.
how could people understand Central Asian cuisines, or even Kazakh food? I guess people might have the questions like, oh, are they spicy? Or
I think also, just to mention, we opened the restaurant for that purpose, to answer those questions. So whenever people come into a restaurant, sometimes some of the guests are incredibly kind and they're shy to say, I'm so sorry, I don't know what Central Asian food is. I don't know what to expect. And in that case, it's actually our favorite type of guest, because we are so grateful that they came in with no idea what to expect, and they still trusted us to try something new, to kind of experience a new cuisine through our lens, through our restaurant. That's what we opened the restaurant for. And in terms of flavor profile, one thing that I can definitely point out is a lot of our guests, the feedback we get, they're surprised that the food is not spicy or that the food is not very fragrant. Because I think they expect something similar to what Indian cuisine or Southeast Asian cuisine would be like, when in reality, I don't think we have a lot of dishes that use a lot of spices. For me, our cuisine is more about, again, kind of warmth, milder flavors, but at the same time, the flavors that can keep you going through the day, give you a lot of energy, sustenance.
Yeah, it's also we're talking about our cuisine from Kazakh perspective, but if we go more south, we go to Uzbekistan or Tajikistan, they have more spices, they have more flavors. If you go to Turkmenistan, which is also part of Central Asia, they will have a lot of saffron, a lot of Iranian flavors. So it's really very diverse. And we hope we'll represent all these flavors, all these cultures in our restaurant soon. We started with our most traditional items from like a little bit from each country.
Such as
beshparmak from Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, pilaf from
achchuk.
Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. There is always fight between Central Asian countries who created pilaf, who created beshparmak. So I guess we will have some angry comments if I will not mention that beshparmak is both for Kazakhs and Kyrgyz. But anyway, we will find some Tatar guy who will say, no, beshparmak is from Tatars.
yes.
Just for that, we say Central Asian.
Yeah.
Central Asian, just
We
for
are
that purpose.
Yeah. So which is why you guys kept it as Central Asian cuisines. It's sort of like a mix, as you mentioned, it's quite diverse. You know, the food and dishes coming from the region, and a lot of them are actually hybrid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be more accurate to ask for like maybe from a Kazakh perspective or like Central Asian. Are there any like key festivals that you guys would observe? And during these times, are there any like festive food that people should know about?
So in the February, there is Ramadan coming. Ramadan is not only Central Asian festival, it's common for all Muslims. And as Central Asians, I would say most of Central Asians are Muslim. We fast during the Ramadan. And for that reason, we offer a special iftar menu. We want Muslim community of Hong Kong to come and break their fast with us. And after the Ramadan, there will be Nowruz, which is our New Year. So it will be 22nd of March. And it's big festival for all Central Asian countries, and not only for Central Asians. It's celebrated also in Iran. It's celebrated in Turkey, some parts of Russia.
It's a celebration of spring renewal.
Okay.
Like the winter is over and the spring has come, so we have to celebrate the harvest. It's a beautiful, if you ever want to travel to Central Asia, I would say Nowruz and just in general, spring season is the most beautiful time. And for our restaurant, we'll obviously be in Hong Kong, both of us, during that time, because we want to celebrate it in Yurt for the first time as well, and bring in some of our local to us artists or musicians or any kind of cultural references to introduce to people during that special time. Yeah.
So there might be a special menu coming up for that time.
Absolutely, there will be. We must.
I look forward to that. And I know when we were chatting, you also mentioned in order to maintain the authenticity of the food you guys serve at the restaurant, you also hired your team from Kazakhstan, and there was quite a visa process. Can you explain to us why you insisted on that?
Well, our current chef, Marat, he is from Kazakhstan. We brought him in specifically for that project. He's a big part of our team, and as we sit here, he's currently making sure that everything cooking away, making sure everything goes smoothly at Yurt, because if it's all three of us not at Yurt at the same time, I don't think any of us would feel relaxed. There has to be one responsible adult there at any given point. But to go back to your question, it was absolutely a must, because to really give a feeling of, as much as I think this word can be overused, authentic experience, authentic cuisine, you need someone that not only has been trained to cook that food, but also grew up eating it, saw his grandparents, grandmom, mom then like make the food as well. So there's this connection and understanding of how the flavors should kind of be in general. And we went through a very interesting process. Obviously, we're incredibly grateful because we ended up getting a visa for our chef, but we had to go through a very extensive explanation process of why we need a chef from Kazakhstan to cook Central Asian cuisine, and why we can't just, quote, hire someone French that's already in Hong Kong. Like, why not just hire someone from Europe? And it's an incredibly different culture, different cuisine, different history of cooking. For us, we wanted to obviously challenge our chef as well to cook cuisine that he's familiar with in a very different environment. Hong Kong has completely different climate, completely different kind of flavor profile, so it is a challenge in a way. But we still felt like it was a must to bring someone who's familiar, who's from Central Asia.
Yep. I'm glad you guys sort of insisted on that and decided that's a very key part of your project, because now people in Hong Kong will get to really taste, Central Asian food that's closest to authentic, because you guys have a chef from the region. And I mean, I also love how earlier you guys mentioned there are people who had no idea what Central Asian food, Kazakh food was like, and then they still visited your restaurant and be like, oh, I have no idea what I'm getting, but try me. I love, this is exactly how I feel like cultural exchange should be. It's not about how much you know about the culture. It's more like, when you realize, you actually don't know much about someone else's culture, it kind of sparks that curiosity, rather than maybe, sometimes when they realize, they don't know much about something, they feel threatened. But I think a more positive attitude to sort of approach our ignorance or what we don't know would be curiosity, which is be like, tell me more.
Absolutely. And we've been so lucky with a lot of our guests, because so many times people come in and when they make an order, they can't even pronounce some of the name of the dishes right. But then, like, me and Ali are obviously here today, but tonight on the floor, our entire team is from Central Asia. We have 2 of our teammates from Kazakhstan and 1 of our waiters from Kyrgyzstan. So it really helps to put the guests through this entire experience of someone local, guiding them through traditional dishes and flavors, explaining the history, the meaning behind every dish, recommending something appropriate for what they would want. And we were very kind of surprised, because especially when we just opened, we didn't really put a lot of descriptions on our menu. We pretty much just put on a name and a few ingredients, and then kind of made sure that we explained the rest. And the amount of trust that people put into you, we're like, I don't know what it is, but I'm willing to try. That kind of openness to new experiences is what we rely on. And when people do come open-minded to our restaurant, I feel like they, at the end of their experience, can actually say, wow, I've actually feel like I almost visited. I went to your home pretty much and tried your food. That's what we want to achieve.
Yeah. So in a way, in every way, you guys did not just cook them food. You gave them a cultural experience. You gave them history lessons if Ali's around.
Oh, absolutely. If he's around, it's a cultural lesson. If I'm around, it's a little bit of a fun experience filled with jokes. And
yeah. So, when people tried your dishes, right, what were some of the most common reactions? Like, how do they react to some of your signature dishes?
I'd say it's a surprise. A lot of people. So I'd say a highlight of ours would be a sea course, perhaps, because, for example, Kazakhstan is world's biggest landlocked country. We don't necessarily have a massive history of using a lot of fish or just in general like shellfish, let's say, in our cuisine. So the way our chef reinterpreted sea bass with pumpkin, a bit of mung bean puree as well, for a lot of people in Hong Kong is a very interesting and new combination, just because it comes from a completely different perspective on the cuisine from our chef.
Right.
And how he works with the fish would be so different from someone who grew up having fish, right? That would be a big surprise for a lot of our guests. And a lot of things I hear sometimes is that they feel like it feels like it's made with a lot of love. I can't really explain it, but it seems like there is something special in the sauce.
So you guys nailed the vibe.
Because every time we talk to the guests, it's almost as if you're on the stage in some way. You're representing a massive region.
And I like reaction of Kazakh people to our food. They say, first we thought it's something fancy and something totally different, but when we try the taste, it really tastes like home. So even our presentation is different, more modern. It tastes like it can be tasted in home, in Almaty or in Tashkent.
And it was a very important strategic decision from us from the very beginning that we've agreed with Chef on, that we're going to be very solidly Central Asian restaurant. There's no fusion in it. There's no French inspired or with Asian influence or this and that. There's no two ways about it. We're not trying to necessarily just go for that fusion vibe. No, our goal is to purely introduce people to our region. It's not to say that we're not open to ideas of doing, let's say, four hands dinners or trying to see how our cuisine will mix with another. But before we do that, we just need to introduce our region that was never introduced before.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite important as well for us.
Yeah, I love that because for a lot of restaurant owners or chefs, when they're in Western countries such as the US and the UK, when they introduce their own cuisines, right, they sometimes find themselves having to sort of dump down their cuisines. They would be like, well, this is a dish. They would say, this is a dish from my hometown. It's like curry, but different, you know, just to get the crowds to accept that. So I really love how you guys insisted on, you know, presenting what you understand to be the food that represents your home country. And, you know, now that you guys are sort of 2 months into running this restaurant, what kind of ambitions or like exciting plans you have for the restaurant for the rest of the year? Maybe we'll be getting 2 different versions from you guys.
As always. And I think it's also, just on the previous point as well, if we go too much into the fusion aspect of things, then we lose credibility from our community. And those are the people that supported us so much before we even opened our doors. Because when we announced that we were opening the restaurant, our community of Central Asians in Hong Kong uplifted us so much. We are probably should be grateful for them alone, just for the inflow of first of our bookings. And if we just go out of our way to, it feels like we're almost turning on them by being like, oh, this is this dish, but this is not how I know it. This is not how you know it. This is how we're going to serve it in Hong Kong. It just doesn't work. We still want our people to vouch for us, which they do, that it's an authentic flavor profile that we're representing. And at the same time, you know, kind of making sure that we're still approachable for the audience in Hong Kong. Anyways, back to our goals for 2026.
Yeah, so for me, my first goal is to make Yurt autonomous, to work without me and Xenia. So it's like a newborn baby. In beginning, we need to be 24 hours with our baby. We need to take care. We need to check everything. We cannot trust to anyone. But slowly we coming to that point when we can just leave our baby with babysitters.
Yeah, in the
He
good
says
hands of
things
the
like
team.
that,
podcast.
and then he says things like that, and then people, of course, will wonder if we're dating or not.
I mean, this part is going to get quoted out of context.
We'll cut this part and put real on Instagram.
Yes, got it. So you at first you guys are definitely very hands-on
Yeah.
parents,
and
but
now-
eventually you're building this trust with your great team, with your customers. So hopefully you guys can be.
And after that, we have some ideas to implement in this year, some upcoming projects,
Stay tuned.
New
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
new
Oh,
concepts. So, but better to see the results, and I will
Yeah.
tell it now. Yeah.
Better to take care of the firstborn.
Yes. And for me, I'd say I would love, as much as every time we do an interview or a podcast or a photo shoot at Yurt or with a team, it just feels so surreal to me to this day, because I could never imagine that a Central Asian restaurant could be so I think we're probably one of the first Central Asian restaurants to ever get that international coverage and recognition. So we're kind of positioning Yurt to be successful and to keep growing in that aspect of things.
Yeah.
To potentially be in some of the
Yeah.
in some of the guides, in some of the 50 best and stuff like that. We would love to. It's good to dream about those things and obviously work towards it. Keeps us motivated, keeps our team motivated, keeps us inspired to keep looking for interesting recipes, lost recipes.
Yeah.
Always renew the feeling.
Our chef have some star wallpaper on his phone.
Hopefully one day we'll get one.
Wow. I mean, it's always good to be aspirational, and I'm sure you guys will get there because you guys work really hard, on this concept, and you kind of insisted on, some of the key elements to your concept. So you're not really compromising. You're really quite insistent on bringing your vision to the Hong Kong dining scene, or maybe eventually the dining scenes of elsewhere. But then before we move on to the next segment, I just have one last question for you. In order for people to get to know, the Kazakh culture, right? What can they learn about the Kazakh culture through their food?
For me, it's about generosity, sharing. A lot of our dishes are served in bigger portions, I would say, because they inspire gathering. They inspire people to be at the table, kind of have that sense of community through dining. I'd say, as simple as that answer is, that's exactly how kind of, for me, Kazakh culture feels like. It's very, very warm. No one's ever a stranger. There's no way you're leaving someone's house without having tea or, having their bread or whatever they cooked that day. It's just an incredibly warm culture by nature.
So if we talk about history,
Gosh.
I love
we're
that.
gonna turn this podcast into a
I love
history
a
podcast.
history lesson. I mean, I have thought about that.
Yeah, so
You should put dinosaurs or something whenever he talks,
Yeah,
because
when-
it's always a history break.
when Kazakhs fight against dinosaurs. It's
We
just
gotta fact check that.
Less on.
it's just a meme in Kazakh culture that we always talk about history because we love our history. We're proud of our history, as we're proud to be Asian.
I love that. Yeah.
So Kazakhs was nomadic people, so we used to move a lot. That's why when you moving a lot, you cannot carry a lot of items. So you have only one pot, you have only 3 or 4 different ingredients, but you need to always create something new from out of these 3 ingredients. So it's a milk, it's a meat, it's some flour, some herbs that you will find on the way. So it's about creativity, what you can do using the limited resources. This is generally about Kazakh cuisine.
And I think there's a lot of conversations in the dining world lately about sustainability and just nose-to-tail dining. Well, what Ali just mentioned, in the nomadic life, you can't afford to throw products away. It's just not the way we used to live, and it's not the way people live today in the regions as well. You make sure that you use every single part of an animal that you're consuming, or every part of the vegetable as well that is being grown, every part of the grain.
Yeah.
So I think we as Central Asians are probably one of the first on the nose-to-tail trend. It's just that we didn't necessarily have the means to convey that that's also our dining philosophy and always has been.
Wow. I mean, that's very impressive, and I'm very excited about this new addition to the Hong Kong dining scene. You guys are really introducing sort of like a new way of dining, new way of thinking about diverse cuisine. So I look forward to what you guys will be putting out throughout the year. But now, I'm not going to make it easy for you guys. It's time for us to move on to the next segment, which is called Rapid Fires. And now in this segment, I'll be asking my guests biased questions that they've got asked at some points in life, either about their cultures, their food, their personal experiences. So, Xenia and Ali, are you ready?
Born ready.
Always.
Nice. And first question. All stans are the same, right?
Yeah. It's same like Hong Kong, same with Singapore and Taiwan. So
We just won. It's just one cuisine, one population.
yeah, actually, Stan from Persian language means country. It's like England, Thailand, and others. So it's same like calling England and Thailand same because they have this land ending. Kazakhstan is very different than Pakistan. Pakistan is very different from Tajikistan, but of course we have something similar, maybe the religion. We mostly Muslim countries. We share some traditions, little bit culture, but mostly it's different countries with different cultures. Yeah.
I remember once seeing a book on a shelf that was called Sovietistan. So it's like Soviet, as in like USSR, and then adding Stan at the end. Now, I don't know the content of the book, I'll be honest. I didn't even decide to pick it up because to me, putting all Stans in the same category in general just feels unfair and quite biased, which we are in a segment of at the moment. All the countries in Central Asia are incredibly diverse. They have different cultures, the way they approach dining, the way they approach just even their politics, I would say. From Kazakhstan to Kyrgyzstan to Uzbekistan, you could travel rather fast between the three, let's say, but then you would end up in a very different kind of system whenever you go. So again, I think that people assume that they're the same because they just didn't have an opportunity to learn that they're not. And I think it's a good time to change that.
Yeah, absolutely right. And for me, when I visit any of Stans, except I never visit Afghanistan and Pakistan, but when I visit Uzbekistan or Kyrgyzstan, I also feel myself as I'm at home. I feel very comfortable at these countries. And for me, we are more close than, for example, if we compare with China. When you crossing the border, you already feel yourself like in different country, even though we are neighbors and we have quite a huge border. But culturally, we are more close to our Stan countries, I would say.
I see.
It's
so similar, but not the same.
Absolutely not. Although something funny happened when we opened Yurt, when we were distributing our press release for our region. If you go and read a magazine from Kazakhstan, they would say that we are from Kazakhstan. And then you go and read an article from Uzbekistan, and it'll be like, a team from Uzbekistan opened a restaurant at the heart of Hong Kong. You go to Kyrgyzstan, and immediately me and Ali become Kyrgyz, and our chef as well, which is, as funny as it is, it's actually so endearing because they just, want to support Yurt, even though they're far away. They want to kind of, give it support through that way.
Because
and we are
definitely the
grateful.
representation of the region is hard to come by in the international scene. So I can see that being kind of like them positively reacting to it, it means a lot to them too. I can
Absolutely.
imagine.
I'm going back home in February. I'm telling everyone I have this restaurant. Are you kidding me? I'm looking for every possible discount,
They'll
for
be so
every
proud
possible
of you.
blessing. Absolutely, I am. Yeah,
Imagine all the free foods coming your way, Xenia.
exactly. That's why I'm going in February. I have to tell everyone in person and see what I can.
You gotta bring
get
all your
from it.
magazine covers with you.
Absolutely. All the Instagram. Please follow us. Suddenly we get an influx of followers. But the truth is, our people are incredibly, as I said, warm and supportive. So that's what I expect when I go.
don't know how about you, but after we opened restaurant, I stopped ask for discount in any place because I start understand people
That's
behind.
your business person hat on.
Yeah.
And we still got a few questions to go through, but I would challenge our listeners, whoever's listening, before you make that biased comment of all stans are the same, please name all the stans before you say that.
Absolutely.
I would challenge them that. But next question, what do you think about Borat? Is living in Central Asia like living in the Borat movie? I think our previous guest answered that question too.
Have you watched?
I watched the first one, not the second one. Well, when we were opening Yurt, I told Ali, I was like, just so you know, there's going to be a lot of people going through our door and making Borat expressions, joking about it, asking us questions. We just need to have a trained answer to how we're going to, address that question. And I think the people are a little bit, because they feel like they're on our territory now. They don't ask us that question anymore.
Because they're surrounded
They
by
know what
Central
proper
Asians.
behavior is.
Yeah, they're surrounded by Central Asians, so they're a bit hesitant.
So you have not gotten that so far.
Maybe a few times, but I feel like it's a bit different from like when you're out having a dining in a restaurant and someone asks you that, which at first my kind of reaction to Borat was rather negative, because I felt like obviously it portrays our culture and our region in such a negative way and such a dishonest way as well. But then as you kind of become more mature, you're like, oh well, first of all, nobody cares anymore.
So I first watched Borat when I was maybe 22 or 23. So that time I was in France and my friends forced me to watch it with them because they wanted my reaction. But to be honest, I didn't feel anything negative, because for me it was just a comedy with some funny and not funny moments, and it doesn't have anything with Central Asia. It wasn't filmed in Central Asia, and I can understand that actor and director of film just choose Kazakhstan because that time it was nobody know about Kazakhstan that time, so he just choose a random country. So it happened, and we cannot do anything with that.
If anything, it sets the expectation so low for when you actually visit. You're like, wow, actually, it's a beautiful country. Maybe it played to our advantage somehow.
Yes, it is. I've seen photos of our city so far, and I dream of going to that place one day.
It's beautiful, beautiful indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and next job. Do you guys still live in Yurts and ride horses? Well, now you run Yurt.
I'm not
Ali
joking.
sometimes does still live in Yurt.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm not talking about everyone, but me and my family personal, we have yurts at our home because we host tourists on our farm on the yurts. And yes, we ride the horses. I guess many of Kazakhs can ride the horse. So in some way it's true, but it's not like we drive horse on the way to school or on the way to work. And we don't live in yurts whole the year. We just leave it as some touristic attraction, or some people putting the yurts for some festivals. Yeah.
We say that we don't commonly anymore, which is especially funny because when we were building up Yurt, there were a couple of nights where it's like you finish work late and you just have to stay in Yurt, just sleep at the restaurant.
Yeah, there you go. That's another kind of yurt for you to stay in.
Absolutely. When I was growing up, they still had police that would ride the horse in my town.
Wow.
Was that for you the same?
Yeah, I saw police riding horses, but I think it's common in many other countries as well. I'm sure in UK they also have horse police.
I think it's less common now. I would say that the question itself, like, do you guys still live in yurts and ride horses, comes from a biased perspective that we're quite rural and underdeveloped as countries, which couldn't be further away from the truth. We obviously have still kept yurts and horse riding as massive traditions, because it's one of our ancient rituals, some might say. So we want to preserve that. We want to keep that going, tradition alive, but I wouldn't say that all of us do.
It would have been cool. Just imagine like in Hong Kong it's all concrete jungle, and just imagine that that's a completely different type of lifestyle. It sounds pretty cool. And finally in this segment, this is a question that's related to the previous one. How developed and independent are Central Asian countries?
So, again, all Central Asian countries are different, and I can tell more about Kazakhstan and a little bit maybe about Uzbekistan, because this is two countries that I've been more than others. So I would say in some points Kazakhstan are, in some industries and segments, Kazakhstan are more developed than Europe or even Hong Kong. I would say in banking we are much more developed, almost in same level with China, I would say, because we have this very incredible and comfortable banking system. You can get your bank account and card in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Very fast service in banking. We don't have any commissions, anything like that. So, and we don't have a checkbooks. I was so shocked when I first came to Hong Kong and they asked me...
They're very paper-based still.
Yeah. They asked me, do you want a checkbook? I said, who is using a checkbook in 2025? It's something from 80s.
Wow, so digital banking is quite advanced in Kazakhstan.
I would say it's very on good level. And let me finish story with checkbook. So after a couple weeks, I came to a point where I need a checkbook. So I returned to bank and asked them, please, can you give me checkbook? I cannot survive without checkbook in Hong Kong.
Well, on a brighter side of things, if we talk about our own industry, restaurant industry in Central Asia, it's an incredibly, like in general, the hospitality industry of Central Asia is an incredibly promising area. A lot of the publications in 2025 named Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan as the best interesting countries to visit, which I think is quite fair, because whenever I go back, I see so many restaurant openings, interesting bars, very diverse concepts that are so genuine. You can see that there's so much love behind them. So in terms of restaurant scene, let's say if we consider Almaty or Astana, there are a few restaurants that if they were, let's say, currently placed in Hong Kong, I think that would be really strong, quite competitive.
And I would say the marketing of restaurant business in Kazakhstan are in different level.
Completely. Yeah. They just blow everyone out of the water when it comes to, because I feel like, first of all, a lot more people are using social media as the way to know about restaurants, where I think like in Hong Kong, people still rely on traditional media a bit more to kind of gain trust with the restaurant if they want to go there.
They need the celebrities to go eat the food for people to
make sure they post the reel before they go. Yes, absolutely. But the budgets, I guess, that they work with are very different. The creative teams in general are so much more readily available in Central Asia. And when we obviously come up with our content plan for where we want to take Yurt this year, a lot of our inspiration comes from Central Asia. It doesn't come from Hong Kong or anywhere else. It's just such a more interesting perspective that they offer. So whenever someone is in that region, I really recommend to go to certain restaurants, bars, talk to people. Some of them may not have perfect English, but they will nevertheless always try to communicate to their best kind of ability and just offer the best hospitality experience you've ever had, pretty much.
I'm going to come for you for the list of restaurants whenever I get a chance to visit. I heard that Kazakhstan is emerging as kind of like a ski destination for people as well. So I hope there are more international flights going in, though.
They promised to establish direct flight from Hong Kong to Almaty this year. I hope it will happen.
Air Astana, if you're listening, please.
I look forward to that. I would like to visit Kazakhstan.
Cathay Pacific.
Oh, Cathay Pacific, please. We'll just...
Yes. And well done. We are at the end of the Rapid Fires segment. And for us to close out the episode, do you guys like music?
Yeah, we do, but we love very different type of music, me and Ali.
That's perfect. Now that we can get 2 different recommendations for our Proudly Asian playlist, which we normally have this Spotify communal playlist that we invite all of our guests and listeners from around the world to contribute their song picks that either, it could be songs that remind them why they're proudly Asian or make them feel proudly Asian, or it's by an artist or an Asian artist that deserves so much more credit. So do you have your song picks for us?
I suddenly forget all songs' name.
You're in Kazakh?
Yeah.
So Ali just stole my suggestion. Okay, I'll come up with another one.
Yeah, I have another one. It's more authentic. I have 2 options.
How dare you?
One is more authentic, more ethno vibe, and second is more modern, which I prefer listening in
Why
daily
not
life.
Both?
I mean, sometimes I have a mood for ethno vibe, and sometimes I prefer just modern Kazakh music.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And sometimes he has a mood where he just listens. Do you want to tell what you're actually listening to when you're making drinks? Do tell.
It's my guilty pleasure.
Well, please
somehow we all need
listening
to...
Turkish music.
Oh, nice.
I know I'm so familiar with our playlist at Yurt because I've curated it. And whenever I hear a disturbance, I hear a sound that I'm not familiar with as I walk down the stairs from 2nd floor to the 1st. I just know that he's at the bar making up a new drink for the menu. And he just needs it to be in the mood. But I just have to tolerate it for 5 to 10 minutes before I'm just telling him, turn it off.
So what is one song from the Yurt playlist that you might want to share with us?
I think maybe Homai could be a great one. It's an incredibly massive hit, which introduced a lot of people actually to kind of that culture, or at least vibe, I think.
And
so
Homai is a Bashkir song. So Bashkir people are living in Russia, in Republic of Bashkortostan. So it's another stan inside of Russia. And they telling the history of their own people through their music. So I recommend everyone to listen to their songs.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think a more traditional one we also have in the Yurt playlist is Мен Қазақпын. It's a very old song that I think it was very popular, but it still is. To me, that song is just so emotional every time I hear it because the meaning is very beautiful. It's in Kazakh, and it's a song that, at least in my town growing up, was playing from every single radio station.
And if we talk about this song, I could not mention that they have a phrase in that song. He's saying, I'm a Kazakh, I'm not Europe, and I'm not Asia.
Wow.
So we are in between.
Wow. Oh, wow. That could be the song that represents Proudly Asian as well. We're
I'll
all
send it
about
over.
living in between cultures, but also united on the goal of challenging stereotypes. And finally, here's a question for the both of you, which I'm sure we'll get two versions of as well. What does it mean to be proudly Kazakh or proudly Central Asian to you?
Now it's your turn to be first to answer.
It's really good question. What means to be proudly Asian? It's to be respectful for all cultures that living on this huge continent. I think this is the best part of Asians, that we can respect each other.
For me, I think, once again, because whoever came across me would never, their first thought would never be to consider me Central Asian, obviously. But for me, when I came to Hong Kong, as I was studying, as I was growing in the industry, I couldn't get rid of the feeling that I wanted to give back somehow. Because no matter what career path I pursued, I always felt a sense of responsibility, and perhaps I just felt like I was given so much by Kazakhstan, and I was given so much by Central Asians, you know, people that I grew up with, my community, and just in general, the town that I come from, as small as it is, it's probably one of the kindest places on earth. When I was leaving to study in Hong Kong, I remember I was taking like a taxi, and I would tell some of the drivers, oh yeah, I'm leaving to study and this and that. And then just random drivers, as they would drop me off, let's say at home, they would be like, okay, before you go, I need to give you a blessing.
Wow.
And a lot of kind of support and a lot of success that I've ended up achieving in Hong Kong would not ever be possible without the people that I grew up with, the teachers I had, in general, Central Asia. So I always felt the sense of giving back, giving back, giving back. And now that we have Yurt, and we have a massive flag of Kazakhstan as well, between first and second floor, whenever I walk by, it feels just so surreal to me, because I feel like I am proudly Central Asian. I'm proudly representing the culture, people that have given so much to me, showing the culture that was silent on the international stage for so long, giving voices and representing cuisine that was maybe never had a place on the international dining scene before. And that to me just feels so incredibly meaningful, and that makes me feel proud every single day.
And well, thank you so much. Now you're sharing that blessing with the diners in Hong Kong, and maybe wherever you will also open up an
Absolutely.
outpost. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we've said that, I think, in one of our very first posts, that our people's blessings pretty much keep us going. There's a lot of people back home that are rooting for us that we might have never even met, and that's a huge responsibility for us. So
Wow, I love that. Thank you so much
thank you.
trusting us with your story and with your first English language podcast, Ali, as well.
Thank you.
You've done a Russian, a Kazakh podcast before.
I was in Kazakh and Russian podcast, but it's my first
Insane.
English.
Yeah, thank you for
Wow.
trusting us
You
with
did
that.
well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Proudly Asian. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at proudly.asian for more content. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Leave us a 5-star review on wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in and signing off for now. I'm Isabel Wong.